Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are dealing with all of our peppers that we got out of the garden. We have a variety of kinds here and we're going to do a bunch of different things with them. First thing that we have is jalapenos. We have two different kinds. I've got the Craig's Grande jalapeno, which is a really big one, and then I've got the jalafuegos, which are a little bit spicier of a pepper. They're a little bit smaller, but they're a little bit spicier, so I've kept them separate. I've got a lot of poblanos here, and I've got bell peppers and quite a few Anaheims. Anaheims are a little bit spicy of a pepper. I've also got quite a few extra peppers inside with my jalapenos. I got some shishitos and some serranos and a couple little ornamental peppers that I'm going to be using just for the color. My goal was to try and get as many red jalapenos as I could this year because I wanted to ferment some hot sauce, but the weather's just not been cooperating, so I just had to pick them all in order to get them processed. So what we're going to do with these is all of the jalafuegos are going to be freeze dried. So we're going to chop all these up, get them in the freezer, ready to be put in the freeze dryer. The bell peppers and the Anaheims will be freeze dried, so we need to chop all those up. The mixture of all of the hot peppers here are all going to be made into a jalapeno jelly, and I'm going to take you through that process because we're going to make a bunch of that today. Every time I go to a family event, I'm not allowed to come without that, so it's a really good side dish to use up a lot of peppers on. And then for the poblanos, you can get some really spicy poblanos or they're not spicy, and these aren't spicy at all. I'm going to take out the 6 biggest ones and we're going to use those for supper tonight. We're going to cook those over the fire. The rest of them, we are going to roast them, peel them over the fire, and then slice them up, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. So next time I make tamales, I can have some nice roasted poblanos to put in with my cheese and pepper tamales. So we have a lot to do, and I'm going to take you through the process of the pepper jelly, and then we're going to, as the fire's getting ready, we're going to roast all the poblanos. This is the traditional way of peeling poblano peppers. You roast them and then you steam them and the skins fall off. Got a variety of sizes here. I just had to pick them all while the nights are too cold for them to even grow anymore, so some of them are pretty small. So we'll keep the best ones out for stuffing, but for the most part, just slicing them up and using them in cooking will be the best use for these little ones. I know it looks like we're burning them, but they will peel all the skin off of them, so these are nice and roasted. Almost ready to come off. You can do these on a stove top too if you got a gas stove. These poblanos, we ate some of them already. These are not spicy. Some you can get are really spicy. When we lived in Mexico, that's a whole nother story for another day. But when we lived in Mexico, I would buy peppers at the store and they'd be really spicy sometimes if you bought poblanos. Hi, kitty. Coming to check it out? He's always hanging around me in the background. Actually brought him back from Mexico when we moved back. He's my little immigrant. Funny watching him get used to chasing things around. First time he saw a squirrel. Pretty funny. He's used to chasing lizards, not things with fur. He took to life in the US here pretty quick though. looks good. Put them all in a bowl here. Okay, so this is the important part. Get them covered up really quick while they're still hot. Get them sealed in so all that hot steam just softens up the skins all the way around. We're going to finish the rest of this inside. We've got our pepper, they're steaming inside plastic in the bowls. And you can do these in just plastic bags. You can throw them in Ziploc bags and zip them up. I prefer to stay away from plastic as much as possible, so I just have them covered up, steaming in bowls. We're going to deal with these. Really easy way to use up a lot of these peppers is to make pepper jelly with them. I cannot come to a family event without actually bringing this along. And we're just going to use a box of Sure-Jell, and the instructions for this are inside the Sure-Jell packet. A lot of people ask me, how did you make that? That was so good. And I said, just read the recipe that's inside here. We are going to alter it just a little bit because this recipe calls for 1.5 cups each of red bell pepper, green bell pepper, and then only 1 cup of jalapeno peppers. I'm going to alter that and just use 4 cups total of all hot peppers. And I've done this with all sorts of peppers before, and we're going to keep all of the seeds in. I'm just going to give them a rough chop. These have all been washed already, and then they were out in the rain with me too, so they've been double washed. I'm just going to use a variety of peppers. I've done this with habanero peppers when I had a lot of those, and I've done them with, I had a really big bumper crop of Thai chilies one year, and that was a really pretty jam because there were so many different colors. You just need 4 cups of hot peppers if you want it to be spicy, and depending on the pepper that you use, it's going to be spicier or not as spicy. You can make this as tame as you want. If you want it a lot tamer, go ahead and follow the recipe that's in the package directions there, and then just use some bell peppers and some really mild jalapenos if you just want the flavor. We like it spicy, so I'm using all spice. And this is a really good way to use up some peppers that are a little bit wilty. Like this red one is just a little bit wilty, so I'm going to use him up. Get him in there and make some really pretty color in there. And I just need 4 cups, so I'm going to get them in my food processor. I probably have enough to make 2 batches of this stuff, and this will make pretty close to 12 or 14 of the half-pint jars, actually the quarter-pint jars. That's these right here. I've got all these washed, ready to go, and I think you get about 12 to 14 jars out of a batch of this. And that is the perfect amount for 1 block of cream cheese, and I'll show you how we eat that once we have some made. And then these little fire and ice peppers, these are just like an ornamental pepper. They're sweet, but they're pretty with the color, so I'm going to throw them in there just so we have some flecks of color and it's not just green. We just take a block of cream cheese, spread it out on a plate. It works better if it's at room temperature. And then put 1 jar of jam on it, and then you use crackers or pita chips or anything that you want to dip with it. If you're grain-free or carb-free, you can use veggies. All right, so we're going to see how well this grinds up here. We're going to take it right back here to the food processor and just pulse it. One thing I learned, you don't peek down in your chute down there to see if they're done, because you'll pepper spray yourself. And that looks about right. That's the consistency that we want, or the size that we want. It's definitely spicy. I can smell it already. That's better. That's about the size that we want. It's just really small, just chunks. Lots of seeds. There's just some flecks of color with that red one that was in there. Just enough to make it really pretty looking. So this is my 4-cup measuring cup. See how much we have. We need 4 cups total. Might do just a little bit more. Oops. Careful your blade. And you can chop these up by hand. It's just so much faster to use a food processor. And you get consistency in your size as well. Don't get your nose too far, too close to that. Nope, you need a few more. Just about 3 cups. Chopped but not pureed. Measure out just to 4 cups. All right, that's exactly 4 cups. Here, and then I will get this cleaned up, and then we're going to come back, and then we will make the jam. I got to get my sugar as well. Okay, so we are ready to start making our jelly. We have a spoon here. We have 4 cups of chopped up hot peppers. Don't get your nose too close to this. Don't breathe in the fumes. Definitely don't breathe in the fumes when you're making this jam, especially if you're using a really hot pepper. It is delicious though. There's 4 cups, and it looks really pretty with just a few of those other varieties of peppers in there with the different colors. And this is our 1 cup of liquid, which is half a cup of apple cider vinegar and half a cup of water. And this is our pectin with a 1/4 cup of the sugar that we measured out of the 3 cups of sugar. So we are going to turn on the heat. I'm going to stir this up really well. And we're going to cook this like any other jam. We are going to cook it until it comes to a full rolling boil. And then we're going to add our sugar. And then we are going to bring it up to a full rolling boil again. And then it has to boil at that full rolling boil for 1 full minute. And then we shut it off, and then it'll be ready to put into jars. All right, 1 minute later. Now we're going to shut it off, remove it from the heat. We have a little bit of foam on there, not nearly as much as there would have been if we hadn't put the butter in. So now we're going to get our jars filled up here. You got a pretty short window to get your jars filled. I mean, it's not going to set immediately, but you definitely want to move. Let me grab my peppers. This water is already pretty hot. That's in here. You don't want to shock your jars too much by putting in your hot jars into cold water. while our pepper jelly is in the canner, I'm going to start peeling some of these. Definitely tell where the skin is good and charred. It is so much easier to peel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the stems and seeds out and sliced up and get these ready for the freezer. I'm just going to vacuum seal them, and I don't know how many I'm going to put in each bag, but there's done. Kind of messy. Definitely worth it. And we're going to make our filling for our supper. We have chicken, cheese, cream cheese. I'm going to bake them over the campfire. Dan's keeping the fire going. And we're going to rinse these under some water too, just to get the rest of that skin off. A little easier to use a bigger bowl, but that worked much better. Rinsing that off like that. Get your hands a little cleaner while you're doing it. They're beautiful, all ready to go. So what we're going to do is just peel out the seeds this way. There's not much pith in a poblano, so I get the seeds out. Kind of open it up in one spot and get the seeds out. If you were going to stuff it, then you just go in one side. This one's ripped in too many places to stuff, but seeds out and then stuff it this way. Doesn't matter if this one rips so much because I'm gonna just slice it up and put it in the freezer anyway. But it's nice to try and practice without breaking them. And I can pick the ones that I'm going to stuff and not break them. There's a bowl. Like I said, you can do this over the kitchen sink also. You can also just pull, it's soft enough, you can just pull the end off. Just like that. A lot more seeds in it than the other one did. Get these on my cutting board and get these chopped up. dog grabbers up in the UP. I hear them sizzling in there. All right, so it's the next day. All of our jars have been processed in the boiling water canner and they've all sealed overnight. And I can tell just by looking at them that the jelly has set nice and firm in there. One of these jars, the 1/4 pint size, is perfect for 1 full block of cream cheese. I'm gonna show you how we use it. I'm not gonna do that much today though, because it doesn't last very long once you make it. So I'm not gonna have that much just for the 2 of us here. I have one open from before. This is actually last year's and it says hot on it. So this must be one that I just took all of my hot peppers and threw them in there and see what I got. And this one's really hot. So what we do is we just take some of the pepper jelly, just put it right on top of the cream cheese. And it works best if your cream cheese is at room temperature. Just put it over top and it looks really pretty with this. And you can do that. So then we're just gonna take your cream cheese and you can use it as a dip. You can use crackers, you can use any type of thing that you want. And go ahead and eat it. And that one is very, very hot. That's why I marked it when hot. So, if you have a lot of peppers, or if you don't have a lot of peppers and you want to make pepper jelly, you can just go to the store and buy any type of variety of peppers and make whatever kind of pepper jelly you want.